In the following scenarios, we will address some common misconceptions and misunderstood facts concerning the Smog Check program. The goal of this training course is to gain consistency when performing smog inspections. Although the emissions testing format seen in some of the following scenarios depict the use of the loaded mode BAR 97 emissions inspection system, the principles discussed in this video may also be applied to the basic area and change of ownership programs. Each scenario will be divided into two segments. The first segment will begin with a smog check technician performing some portion of the vehicle emissions inspection in a manner that is inconsistent with smog check inspection procedures or accepted trade standards. At the end of the first segment, you will be asked to fill out a worksheet that pertains to the initial video segment. Answer the questions to the best of your ability. You will not be graded on your answers. After you answer the questions, your instructor will lead a discussion regarding the video and the worksheet. At the end of the discussion, the instructor will show the second segment of the video. In this segment, BAR will explain the mistakes that the technician made during the first video segment, or the misconceptions held by that technician regarding the smog check program. At the end of the second segment, the instructor will again lead a group discussion regarding the video. You are encouraged to become part of the discussion and advise the instructor of any questions you have or problems that you have experienced when performing smog check inspections. If the instructor cannot answer your questions or address your concerns, the instructor will contact BAR. BAR will make every effort to provide answers to all instructors. Let's begin now with our first segment. In this first segment, we see a customer dropping off his vehicle early in the morning and filling out an early bird work order for a smog inspection at a high-volume test and repair smog inspection station.
Wow! I wouldn't have thought a vehicle this new would have failed. Sure ran good. Well, sir, I'm sorry to inform you, but your vehicle failed the test for high levels of emissions. Matter of fact, it indicates failed for high HCNCL.
Can't believe it failed. It's always passed with flying colors before. What do you think's wrong with it?
It could be just a tune-up. Could need a fuel injection system cleaning. Might even be a bad computer.
How much is that going to cost?
Could be a couple of $100, could be a couple of grand. Computers aren't cheap.
Can you fix it?
Yeah, I think we can fix it.
Let's assume that the estimate and authorization process was followed correctly by the smog inspection station. Please answer the following questions relating to Video 1 contained in your student materials. You will not be graded on your answers, but you will need to turn in your answers to the instructor to get credit for participating in the course. I think most of you will agree the technician in the previous segment made some mistakes. Let's see if we can identify his mistakes and suggest some solutions. First, it is apparent that the vehicle was not warmed up properly. When the technician arrived at the vehicle, he should have made a determination if the engine was hot or cold. Obviously, a cold engine is going to need additional time to reach normal operating temperature prior to testing. Having the engine performance systems at operating temperature will ensure accurate emissions readings during the test. By touching the upper and lower radiator hoses, the technician could make a determination if the engine was cold and needed additional warm-up time, or was close to operating temperature. To determine if the engine is hot, touch both radiator hoses. They should feel hot when touched, and the upper radiator hose should be pressurized. With the engine off, he should have checked the oil level to see if it was at an acceptable level to safely operate the engine. If the engine was cold, he should have checked the coolant level to see if it was at a safe level. As most of you know, just checking the coolant level in the recovery tank is not a good indicator that the cooling system has adequate coolant. Before starting the engine, the technician could make a visual assessment to determine if any fuel, oil, or coolant leaks were present that could result in an aborted test. The technician should apply the parking brake, start the engine, and let it idle while he obtains the vehicle information needed to perform the first phase of the vehicle inspection. By letting it idle while entering data, the engine would start to warm up, assuring that the engine is at operating temperature during the emissions test. If the engine is completely cold, such is the case with this vehicle that was sitting for several hours, the technician should allow extra time for the car to warm up. It is unacceptable and unnecessary to overheat or superheat the vehicle's catalytic converter to pass a smog inspection. Initially, when the technician drove the vehicle into the inspection bay, he did not know if the engine was hot or cold. When he entered the testing bay, he shut the engine off. When he completed entering the vehicle information into the emissions analyzer, he restarted the engine and immediately started the loaded mode emissions test. Testing a cold engine may have caused the vehicle to fail the inspection for abnormally high emission readings. The cause of these high emission readings may have been due to the engine performance system not being in closed loop operation or the catalytic converter not reaching its operating temperature. What the technician should have done, after making sure that the engine was warmed up, was to let the engine idle in the shop bay while he input the vehicle information into the BAR 97 emission inspection system. This would keep the engine at operating temperature to ensure an accurate test. Some of you may be unaware that during the first phase of the emissions test, referred to as the 5015 test, the BAR 97 emission inspection system will sample the tailpipe emissions once the vehicle speed on the dyno reaches 15 miles per hour and other related conditions are met. If the engine is still warming up during the tailpipe emission sampling period, the final emission result could be biased toward a failure. The initial 5015 portion of the emissions test can last up to 100 seconds, whereas the latter 2525 test lasts 70 seconds. This added time at the beginning of the 5015 test allows time for a normally functioning in-use catalytic converter to light off, assuming that the engine is already at operating temperature. In the first segment, we saw the technician giving diagnostic advice to the customer without performing the proper diagnostic steps. Speculating on emission failure problems to the customer can do more harm than good. In this segment, the technician had no diagnostic basis to determine what components or systems were causing the emission failure. Although a failed VIR can lead a technician toward a certain area to investigate, it does not give enough information to identify a specific failure. By guessing what the cause of the failure might be and how much it would cost to repair the car, the technician caused the customer anxiety over repairs he may not need. Another possibility is the customer may now feel that all he needs is a tune-up to pass the smog inspection. If the customer takes his car to a test and repair station and they have a different diagnosis from the initial test station technician, the customer might feel that the test and repair station was trying to sell him unnecessary repairs. These misunderstandings between the customer and the smog inspection station can result in a bar consumer complaint filed against the station by the customer. To avoid misunderstandings, advise your customers that an accurate diagnosis cannot be made using only the information noted on the VIR. Advise the customer that to identify the cause of the emission failure, further diagnosis is needed.
Can I help you, sir?
Yeah, I need to get a smog inspection, but, you know, the car's running kind of rough, and I'm not sure if it's even going to pass.
Okay, well, we'll take a look at it and see. First, we need to get some paperwork filled out. What type of vehicle is it?
You know what? I think I've got most of what you need right here.
Okay, great. Okay, sir, we need your signature here, and we should have it done in about an hour, and you should be on your way.
All right, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Hey, Mark, we'll check this car out. The customer doesn't think it's going to pass smog. You should probably probe it.
Sure, I'll get right on it. Hey Greg, can you come over here and hold this RPM up to 2,500 for 30 seconds? Okay Greg, let it idle.
Well, is my car done?
Yes, sir. We finished with the test. However, we found the hydrocarbon emissions were high.
Oh, boy. Can you fix it? How much is this going to end up costing me?
Well, it's hard to say, but probably under $150, including the cost of the test.
Well, go ahead and fix it. Can you have it done by the end of the day?
I should be able to have it done by about 5 p.m. this evening. If I could get your initials on the revised estimate here, I can get started on it. We'll call you if the repairs go any higher than that.
I hope not.
Okay, thank you, sir. Hey, Tom. Hello, may I speak with Mr. Harris?
Yeah, this is Mr. Harris.
Hello, Mr. Harris. This is Downtown Garage. We have your car in here for smog repairs? Yes, Mr. Harris. We went ahead and installed the new plugs and the wires to repair that hydrocarbon problem we spoke about. Unfortunately, we've run into some unforeseen repairs that need to be done before the car is going to pass smog.
I thought you said you could repair and smog my car for $150. What's wrong with it now?
Well, sir, we did a simulated loaded mode test, and we found that your ignition time was off by 8 degrees,